Number 3, brain worms, wrong things that people believe. Madison Avenue invented earworms through commercials and accompanying music or jingles to worm their way into the minds of consumers to get them to buy their products. However, brain worms have been around since the 17th century to describe persistent delusions or obsessions, deeply ingrained or unquestioned beliefs. One such brain worm is the Commons tragedy of Garrett Hardin. Published by the academic journal Science in 1968, where Hardin confuses the property regime of open access, where nobody owns the land, or as if nobody owns the land when a resource is mismanaged, with common ownership. Ostrom demonstrated convincingly that people can cooperate to effectively manage anything they wish to control through her 8 principles. Even though Hardin backtracked on his thesis in 1994, acknowledging Ostrom's critique, Science never retracted his paper, thereby giving perpetual life to that brain worm. Another example of this affliction is the characterization of mass timber houses as being good for the environment because trees embody a low amount of carbon in support of the political movement toward net zero carbon in our economy. When asked what about the lost carbon sequestration capacity of the trees chopped down, that is, in the mass timber, defenders of the brain worm say that mass timber homes could use only the trees that are responsibly thinned from the forest to prevent wildfires. Yes, they could, but probably aren't. The problem is that many scream from the rooftops that the world is doomed if we don't lower carbon emissions, yet we easily dismiss concern about the loss of carbon sequestration capacity. Associated with this embodied carbon are the additional reasons a person might want to use materials with higher embodied carbon, such as for higher wind and fire resistance. Lightweight traditional concrete is a good example. Also, if the higher embodied carbon home also has a passive house design, it may surpass another with low embodied carbon through lower heat and cooling operation expenses and lower carbon emissions. The third example of a brain worm is the Georgist obsessed with the so-called citizen dividend after the capture of urban land value. As explained above under externalities, George did not stress what citizens might get privately when a public agency goes about recovering community wealth as from land value taxation. Rather, he famously stressed positive social adjustments, as with better water infrastructure, public parks, and education. True, a city could tax landowners more than it needs to provide all the social betterments it required and thereafter distribute a dividend, but the landowner might push back and ask why.